Hi everyone, Miss Sloger here. Today we are doing week 1, days 2 and 3 for science. Now this is only going to be one video for both days because it's the same reading and the same worksheet. However, I broke it down into 2 days to make it a little bit easier for you. So for day 2, for April 28th, for science, we are doing the first 1, 2, 3 questions. For day 3, we are going to be doing questions 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to go through real fast. I'm going to read all the questions to you. Question number 1 is, what is science? Question number 2 is, what are scientific practices that scientists use? Number 3 is, what are some of the benefits of science that we live with today? Then, for day number 3, so you don't have to do that today, is, well, unless it is day 3 for you, is what is a theory? Do scientific answers ever change? And why is astrology not a science? So, what we're going to do is we're going to find all of these answers in the reading packet that I gave to you all. So there should be 1, 2, 3 pages worth of reading. I'm going to go through and I'm going to read this with you. Now, I already went through and I labeled my paragraphs. So I've got paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 up here. And then I've got these are little subheaders. Remember, subheaders tell us what it is we are about to read about. So ours tells us here that we're about to read the science definition. Science is the process of learning about the natural world through observation and experimentation. And science evidence is number 1. People who study science are called scientists, and they use the scientific practices to gather and interpret information. To better understand how science works, let's break it down. All right. Here we have another subheader telling us what we're about to read about. Science is the process of learning about the natural world through observation and experimentation. In movies and television shows, sometimes scientists are portrayed as randomly combining chemicals to make crazy concoctions. This couldn't be further from the truth. Real scientists are very organized and methodical and serious about their work. They ask meaningful questions that can be tested and analyzed. They use very specific tools and methods to test and study the natural world. Scientists make careful observations and record their findings so that other scientists can repeat their investigations. So they watch things and then they write it down so that way other people can learn from it. They share their findings with other scientists and read about studies performed by others. Scientists learn about the natural world through investigations, which produce evidence that helps scientists answer questions. Investigations may involve experiments or observations about the natural world. Scientists use scientific practices to do science. These include asking questions and defining problems, developing and using models, planning and carrying out investigations, analyzing and interpreting data, using mathematical and computational thinking, constructing explanations, engaging in argument from evidence, obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information. Scientists do not always do all of these, and they don't have to follow this exact order. It is more of a general approach they take to collect, analyze, and share data. All right, there's page 1. Now we're moving on. So here's paragraph 8. Subheader. Many things around us appear to be science, but are not. I wonder what's not science. Palm reading, magic tricks, and predicting the future with a magic 8-ball are not science. Anytime someone is making claims without evidence, they are not presenting science. So you got to have stuff that actually supports it. For example, sometimes people get confused about astronomy and astrology. Astronomy is the science study of space. Astrology studies the movement and positions of the stars, which some people believe has an influence on human behaviors. Astrology is not science because there's no evidence to support their claims. So, evidence is a really big thing in science. If you don't have evidence, you don't have anything. All right, here we go. More about evidence. The more evidence we have about a theory, the more confident we are about it. When scientists carry out investigations, they are gathering data to answer questions about the natural world. If scientists collect lots of data that supports the hypothesis, then the hypothesis may become a theory. So remember, a hypothesis is something that a scientist thinks. And once they get enough evidence supporting their hypothesis, then it becomes a theory. Theories continue to be tested, and sometimes they become well established because there's a lot of evidence that back it up. Sometimes, however, it may be thrown out because there is evidence showing that it might not be true. So even if you have a hypothesis or something you believe in that has lots of evidence, sometimes it ends up not being true. So scientists must always be willing to examine new evidence and change their views. So sometimes you got to go, okay, I thought this was true, but maybe it's not. Here's our next subheader. You must be willing to change your mind based on new evidence. Scientists frequently find new evidence by conducting experiments. Well-headed theories are sometimes tossed out because scientists make new discoveries. We no longer believe some of the theories that used to be considered true. For centuries, people believed that the earth was flat. At that time, it was a reasonable thought until scientists found evidence that changed their mind. Scientists must look at new evidence with an open mind and consider that other people or other possible explanations may exist. All right. So lastly on our reading here, we have these 3 pictures with explanations here. So here we have a light bulb, and it says, Benjamin Franklin is given credit for discovering electricity. In fact, many scientists before and after Franklin conducted experiments to better understand electricity and how it can be used. Science is a team effort, so not just one person focuses in an area. So even though Benjamin Franklin might have discovered it, he's not the only person who worked with it. Okay, next we have a picture of a farm here. Science has revolutionized agriculture, and agriculture is just farming. Modern advancements in agriculture have helped scientists discover ways to feed people in more places throughout the world. Next, we have modern medicine. Modern medicine is one of the most important contributions of science. Countless lives have been saved through discoveries like vaccinations and antibiotics, and we could use a vaccination now. So we need science. All right. So now, after reading that, Miss Sloger's got questions 1, 2, and 3 for day 2, questions 4, 5, and 6 for day 3. So right now, Miss Sloger's just going to do an example for number 1 with you. It says, what is science? So we're going to get rid of all of those yucky question words. We're going to write a sentence stem. So we're going to say science is. And then we're going to go back in our text and we're going to look. Now for this one, I don't think we have to look too far. So if we take a peek at this, it literally says right here, science definition. How easy was that? Science is the process of learning about the natural world through observation and experimentation. Easy peasy. So we're going to go back to our worksheet. Miss Sloger is going to, maybe first Miss Sloger's going to underline that. Because Miss Sloger went through and she found it and now she's going to write it down. So after I underlined it, I'm going to write science is, and then I'm going to say the process of learning about the natural world through observation and experimentation. All right. So make sure that when you do 2 and 3, and then on day 3, you do 4, 5, and 6. Make sure that you are making sentence stems. So remember, we get rid of all of the yucky question words. So the what's, and the how's, what is a theory? We don't need that yucky stuff. Do scientific answers ever change? That one's going to be a little bit of a different, because you're going to say, yes, scientific answers change, or no scientific answers change. And then you should probably tell me why. I like the word why. And then why is astrology not a science? We're going to get rid of those yucky words. So it should be really easy for you guys to do your sentence stems now. We got rid of the what are. You can just say scientific practices that scientists use are. We got rid of the what are. So some of the benefits of science that we live with today are. Number 4 says, what is a theory? We got rid of the yucky question words. So a theory is. This one we're going to say, yes, scientific answers change, or no, scientific answers don't change. Tell me why. And then we got rid of the why is. So astrology, and we're going to say is. Put the word is right here. Astrology is not a science because. So go ahead, do these questions. I've already got number 1 done for you. So remember, this is for days 2 and 3 of science. Good luck.